Yes, then I'll continue. See, in the morning, I was talking about the covalent character in the ionic bond. And you know what is a covalent bond and ionic bond, but let me remind you once again. See, covalent bonds are the one which are formed by sharing the electrons. These are formed by sharing the electrons, and ionic bonds are the one which are formed by transfer of electron. Okay, so they are having an electrostatic force of attraction. So these are formed by transfer of electrons. Okay, those are like ionic bonds. And there are characteristics for these covalent bonds which are there. If you check out the properties of this covalent bonds, they dissolve only in the organic solvents like alcohol, and then we have benzene. Okay, then there are other organic compounds which you are not right now familiar, but later you will be getting to know. Benzene is also an organic solvent. Okay, these are solvents in which covalent compounds can get dissolved, like oil type of substance are there. No, you can dissolve an oil only in the oil kind of substance. Okay, you can't dissolve them in the water because water has ionic character, whereas these oils which are there, they are having a covalent character in between them. Okay, so they can get dissolved only in the organic solvents. Covalent compounds, they get dissolved only in organic solvents, whereas the ionic compounds are there. No, these ionic compounds are soluble in water, so they are soluble in water. Okay. And these covalent compounds, if you check out the melting point and the boiling point, they will have very low melting point and boiling point. Whereas ionic compounds, they have quite high melting point and boiling point. For example, if you take now NaCl, if you want to heat, it won't melt that easily. Okay, it requires very high temperature for them to start melting. Whereas if you take, now for example, if you take organic compounds, melt, for example, sugar is there. Okay, so those are coming under organic compounds. So those compounds will get melted very easily. So they have very low melting point and boiling point. Okay, so but what is being found is why we are talking about this particular topic, that is covalent character in ionic bond. Okay, we were expecting such type of property by the ionic compound, that they should be soluble in water, they should have high melting point and boiling point. But then there were few compounds which were found that they doesn't get dissolved in the water in spite of forming the bond through ionic nature only, where they are transferring their electrons and then they are forming the bond, but still they were not showing these type of properties. Okay, they were not soluble in the water, in spite they were found to be soluble in the organic solvents, and instead of having the high melting point and boiling point, they were showing low melting point and boiling point. So that was the reason why they thought that any of the bond, that is ionic bond, they are not 100% ionic in nature. They are not have only this particular character. Along with that ionic character, there is certain character which is associated with them, that may be a covalent character. So none of the bond. So don't think that any covalent bond is also 100% covalent in nature. No, it's not compulsory that they are having 100% covalent in nature, but they have certain ionic character also in them. So like that only, in ionic bond, there was no 100%. There is nothing perfect 100% you don't get anywhere. Okay, little adulteration will be there present along with it. So here also ionic compounds were found to have certain covalent character. That is what I told you in the morning also. We are explaining about this. Okay, so for an ionic compound to be formed, we require a cation. I told you that we require a cation and we require the anion. Anion I'm drawing little bigger in size because you know they have more number of electrons present in them, so they have more electron density. So that is the reason I've drawn little bigger in size, and cations I've taken little smaller in size because they have lost their electrons. So compared to anions, they have less electrons. So here cations, I'll write these are electron deficient. So when these cations and anion combine together, the bond which is formed, okay, because you know how ionic bond is formed, they are formed by transfer of electrons. So one cation has been formed and then we get an anion. So due to their opposite force, they get attracted to each other, and due to that electrostatic force of attraction, they form this bond which is called as ionic bond. Okay, so when they form this bond, let me draw that once again here. Okay, so I've taken this cation and then we have this anion over here. So once they get attracted towards each other with a electrostatic force of attraction, okay, after that what is being found is, since these cations are deficient, okay, so they have a tendency to take these electrons are there, no, these electrons of the anion start getting shifted towards the cation, okay, so that leads to the formation of the covalent character. Initially they had only that force of attraction which were clubbing them together, and the bond was said to be ionic in nature. But then once they are clubbed together, okay, so what happens here is, if the electron densities are present, now here electrons are equally distributed, but when they are attached to this cation, after some while what is of the anion getting shifted towards the cation, okay, so then I can draw it in this way, okay, you can see a elongation has started taking place from the anion towards the cation side. So when they get shifted, it is not like full shifting will happen, okay, it will be present in between the cation and in between the anion. So if I put an electron here, these electrons will get attracted by the positive cation also, and these electrons will get attracted by the of anion also. So these electron densities which are there, they will be pulled by both the cation as well as the anion, okay, so due to this electron coming in between, there will be a covalent character generated, okay, a covalent character starts getting generated between the positive and the negative ion. So this whole process where there is shift of the electrons from the anion taking place towards the cation, this process is called as polarization, okay, so polarization is a phenomenon where there is shift of these electron cloud from the anion towards the cation, okay, this electron cloud is just getting tilted towards the positive ion. So I told you, I gave you an analogy example in the morning saying that if two people are there, okay, one friend is little poor in nature, and like he is little poor, and one is little rich, okay, so now here that rich one, what he can do is he can help out this poor one by giving some of his money, or through by maybe the business, he can make him as a business partner. So that time what he is doing is he is shifting his whatever he has with him, he is trying to share that with the another one. So that time that bonding which starts becoming over there, okay, that will lead to the sharing of whatever things he has with him, okay, so that develops a covalent character, a covalent nature, a sharing nature has been come over here, so that is called as covalent character. So same thing you have to apply with our cation and anion. So cation is poor, anion is rich, so the one which is rich can donate little amount of their electrons who are little poor in nature. So not like it's completely getting donated as such, they are to get it from cation. So these electron comes in between, that electron density comes in between the positive and the negative ion, okay, which leads to the covalent character. And that whole process, I said, this whole process is called as polarization. Okay, so this process is polarization, and the power of this cation, okay, because of this cation, these electrons are getting shifted towards the cation. No, these anions electrons are getting shifted. That power of the cation to polarize this anion, that is called as polarizing power. This power is called as power of the cation to polarize this anion. Okay, like trying to take that shared electrons, okay, towards themselves, trying to pull that electron towards themselves. That power is there, no, of cation, that is called as polarizing power. And what this anion is doing, anion is lavishly giving their electrons to the cation. That is called as the tendency of these anion to give that electron to the cation. That tendency is called as polarizability. Okay, so for anion, it is called as they are getting polarized, and the whole phenomenon is called as polarizability. Okay, so I'll repeat once again, the tendency of the cation to polarize this anion, okay, means this cation has that power to polarize this anion because it's poor, no, so that is a plus point of it, that I am little poor, so I need little money, so that that kind of nature it has. Okay, so due to which this the one who is little rich, what they feel sympathized towards this positive ones who are little poor in nature, so they have their tendency to give whatever they have with them. So that tendency is called as polarizability. So that tendency is of anion to give the electron, and the power of the cation to take that is called as polarizing power. Okay, so you can write it down, students. You don't have to write the one which I have explained just now. You have to just write down the definition of it. Okay, what is polarizing power, what is polarization, and polarizability. So if you read, you will understand here. When a cation approaches an anion, the electron cloud of the anion is attracted towards the cation because they are deficient. So these electron cloud will get attracted towards the cation. As a result, the electron cloud of the anion gets distorted. Means they are shifted. No, so that is called as deforming or getting distorted. They change. Like imagine if money is there with one person, he might have kept it piled up them and kept it in one place, but when he has to give it, what will happen, that share of money will go out, no, so automatically it will get deformed. So like that only here, these are giving the electrons. So initially they were like spherical in shape. Initially they were spherical in shape. Since they are donating their electrons, okay, it's getting shifted towards the positive ion, so you saw that shape starts getting changed. Okay, so I told that they have this elongated shape, it will get this elongated shape, and here you will be having that positive ion, so it gets elongated towards this positive like this. Initially they were spherical in shape, so that is called as getting distorted, and that electron density will be pulled by the nuclei of both the atoms. Okay, so your nucleus of the that is the anion is there, and nucleus of the cation is there, so this electron density will be shared by both of them. Okay, so instead of having the ionic character, now there comes a covalent character also. That whole process I said is called as polarization. And the power of the cation to take that electron or polarize the anion, that is called as polarizing power. Okay, and the tendency of this anion to give that electron is called as polarizability. Students, did you all understand, or you want me to repeat once again? Was it clear? Am I audible? Now at least? Okay, fine. pure. Okay, there is no bond which is 100% covalent or 100% ionic in nature. None of the bonds are 100%. That's what I said. Even in the covalent bond, there are ionic character, and in the ionic bond, there is covalent character. So we don't have any 100% pure ionic and pure covalent bond. Covalent character means they are sharing the electrons between the two. Ionic character means there is shift of the electron. This is supposed to be having the ionic character, no, where one positive ion should be held with the negative ion. Okay, positive and negative ion, they should be held with each other just by the electrostatic force of attraction. Okay, so that leads to ionic character. It's also called as ionic character. Okay, ionic bond itself is ionic character. So, but here it is not found like that. Okay, they are not just held to each other just like that. They are found to have sharing of electron also. Because I said, no, few example I gave you. I said ionic compounds, they dissolve in water. Whereas covalent compounds, they don't dissolve in water. So if you take few covalent compounds and put them in water, you will not find them getting dissolved in the water. Okay, so but few of the compounds which were formed by transfer of electron, they were formed by transfer of electron, but they were not showing ionic characteristics. Okay, ionic properties were not there in them. So what they thought, that they are not perfectly ionic in nature, there is some other character also which is coming into picture. That is a covalent character, because we have only these two type of bonding which you have studied, no, covalent and the ionic one. So that is the reason why they thought that when the cation combines with the anion, this electron density which is there from the anion gets shifted towards the cation, because cation does anything to give, right? No, they are like positively charged, they don't have electrons with them. So these anions are the one who are having electron. So they were found to shift their electrons and share those electrons between the cation as well as the anion. Yeah, sodium, in that sodium chloride also, you can calculate the ionic character. We say sodium chloride is ionic in nature. But then there are theories, okay, which is being put forward by the scientist. You can calculate how much of ionic character is there in a particular compound. So sodium chloride, okay, depends on how much percentage it is, what type of negative ion they are attached to. So they say if you have a covalent compound now, even they have ionic character. So it depends on the electronegativity. It depends on the electronegativity. Okay, so it's said that if you have 1.9, measurement is done. Okay, you all don't have this theory, but just remember if you want for your knowledge. They say if it is 1.9, then it is 50% ionic and 50% covalent in nature. The electronegativity difference between the positive and the negative ion. If electronegativity difference is 1.9, okay, in a bond, then it is found to be 50% covalent and 50% ionic in nature. But if the electronegativity difference is more than 1.9, then it will be more ionic in nature. If it is more than 1.9, electronegativity difference is more than 1.9, then it is found to be more ionic in nature. If it is less than 1.9, then it is found to be more covalent in nature. So it depends on to which type of negative ion they are attached with. So there are like formulas are there they use to calculate this. Ion and atom, see, atoms are neutral. They have equal number of electrons and equal number of protons. But in the ions, the ratio of the proton and electrons are different. For example, if you take sodium ion, you will see that the proton ratio is more than compared to like Na plus. If I take Na plus, ratio is more than compared to proton, no? So that is the difference between ion and atom. In an atom, you have equal number of electrons and protons in the atom. But in an ion, the number of electron and proton ratios are different. It depends on what type of ion you are talking about. If it's a cation, you will see proton ratios are more. If it is an anion, you will see that electron ratios are more. Okay. Yes, I'll go for the next one, students. No, NaCl, there is sodium atom. Sodium atom is there. No, NaCl has sodium atom. Sodium ion. I mean, atom has converted into ion. Yeah, that is correct. Sodium atom has given their one electron to the Cl to get converted to Cl minus. So now in the NaCl, they are in Na plus and Cl minus form. Okay. Yes, fine. Okay, I'll continue then. Yes, so here these rules are there, no students, about polarization, polarizability and polarizing power. This was given by a scientist called as Fujin. Okay, and he is talking about the different cations and anions, like which type of cation will show more covalent character and which type of anion will show more polarizing power. Okay, who can give the electrons easily, who can take those electrons of the anion very easily, what type of cation we should take. So we are trying to give a like qualitative difference, a relativity between the type of different metals. Okay, so we will take those rules what he has given. So he has given few rules about this. So let me talk about that. So the first rule, what he says, and these rules are called as Fujin's rule, okay, because it was given by the scientist called as Fujin's. Yes, the positive charge and the negative charge make them neutral, correct. Yes, so here I was talking about the Fujin's rule. So he has given few rules based on type of cation will be able to polarize the anion and what type of anion will easily get polarized. Okay, so those rules are called as Fujin's rule. It's important. Okay, Fujin's rules. So first rule he says, okay, first rule he says, smaller the size of the cation, greater the covalent character of the ionic bond. Okay, I will write down here, smaller the size, smaller size of the cation, smaller the size of the cation, greater be the covalent character of ionic bond. Means if the cations are smaller in size, that particular bond will have more covalent character. Greater the covalent character of ionic bond. Okay, like now for example, if I see here lithium, okay, if I'm taking the example lithium plus and then I have sodium plus, I'm taking first group because you are a little familiar with that. So lithium ion, sodium ion and potassium ion. Now among this, which particular cation will be able to polarize the anion more readily? Means who are very sharp in taking those electrons towards themselves. Okay, who will be more easily able to take the electron, shift the electrons of the negative ion towards themselves. Okay, you have any idea about this? If you want, you can tell me. Let me see if you can answer. Now my question to you is, which particular cation among this will be able to shift the electrons of the anion towards themselves very easily? Is it lithium or is it potassium? Because I have arranged them in the order only, so it will be easier for you to tell. Is it lithium or is it potassium? It cannot be sodium because it is coming in between, no? Yeah, because see the first sentence, very good. It should be lithium. Lithium is the answer. No, smaller the size of the cation, greater is the covalent character of the ionic bond. Okay, so smaller size. Why smaller size? Because in that smaller size, they will have high charge density. Effective nuclear charge is very high, no students. So if the effective nuclear charge in the smaller one will be larger than compared to the greater ion, no, according to the size, you have studied about effective nuclear charge. Who can take the electrons more easily? The one who are in smaller size then compared to the one who are larger in size. Larger size already have the electrons with them, you know. Larger ones, they already have the electron with them, so they don't require that ease of taking the electron from somebody will be less in the atom which are larger in size then compared to the atom which are smaller in size. Okay, so here lithium will be the one who will be able to take those electron of the anion more readily than compared to the potassium. Okay, so the order will be in this way. Smaller the size of the cation, greater is the covalent character. So that will be more in the lithium than compared to in the potassium. So I can give you example. So for example, this lithium chloride will be having more covalent character than compared to potassium chloride. So lithium chloride is more covalent than potassium chloride. Okay, so you can write down this first rule. I hope this first point is clear to everyone. Smaller, and this should be like remembered by you. Even in the second year, for few concepts, we will be requiring it. Even in the first year also, there are S block and P block element which requires this Fudgens rule. Okay, so do keep in mind, if two elements compounds are given to you, you should be able to tell which has more covalent character and which has more ionic character. So both of them were supposed to be the ionic compound, but then due to polarization, lithium chloride is found to be more covalent and they get dissolved only in the organic solvent. They don't get dissolved in the water. That is because of their small size, the electron cloud gets shifted and the electrons are shared between the lithium as well as between the chlorine. So that is the reason why they show more covalent character than ionic character. Okay. So first one is that. Now second one is about the anion. So I told you that cation always should be smaller in size. If they are smaller in size, no, they will have a high effective nuclear charge. So if their effective nuclear charge is high, they will have more tendency to grab that electron towards themselves. Okay, because they should be able to take that, no, they should be able to shift that electron towards themselves. Okay, so that shifting can happen only if they are smaller in their size. If they are larger in size, you know that the nucleus and the outermost electron doesn't have much interaction, okay, because of these different shells coming into picture. So that is the reason why their covalent character decreases when the size become larger. Smaller ones will have more covalent character. Yes, now going for the next one, how should be the anion? So anion should be larger in size, okay. So larger the size of the anion, larger the size of the anion, greater is the covalent character of ionic bond. Greater is the covalent character of ionic bond. Okay, larger the size of the anion, greater is the covalent character of the ionic bond. Why? Because, see, larger the size, if I take the example of now fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay, if I take F minus, Cl minus, F minus, Cl minus, and actually it will give the electrons very easily to the cation. Is it fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or iodine? So it should be iodine, correct? No, iodine. Why? Because they are larger in size. So this larger size, what happens is their electrons are there. No, that outermost electron will not be that easily held to the nucleus because they are larger in size. See, if the person is very rich, giving little amount of money will not be a matter for him. But if a person has money but then he is not that rich, okay, so then what happens? He will be little hesitant to give that money. So here, same thing happens with the halogen also. In this halogen also, all of them are having electron. But who is more readily able to give? So that depends on the size. Okay. When the size become larger, when the size is larger, these electrons will be very far from the nucleus. So that can be donated easily. Okay. They will not be held by the nucleus tightly. So then donation becomes easier. So if I take now same metal atom, for example, now lithium. If I take now lithium fluoride, lithium chloride, lithium bromide, and then iodide. Among this, the one which has more covalent character, okay, will be the one which is having a larger size. Okay, so here iodine, because all of them are held with the same cation, but I have changed the anion over here. So which will give you more covalent character? That will be this one, lithium iodide. So this will have more covalent character. Okay, and lithium fluoride will have less. This will be more covalent in nature. Okay, and this will be less covalent. So larger the size of the anion, greater will be the covalent character. Means they should be able to donate. Here I am talking about anion, they should be able to donate, and cation, they should be able to receive. So who can receive easily? The one who are smaller in size. Who can give easily? The one who are larger in size. Okay, one who has more electrons. And their electrons should not be held tightly with the nucleus. So this was the second rule which has been put forward. Okay, copy it down. First and the second one, then I'll go for the next. There are altogether 4 rules which you need to remember. So first 2 I finished. Yes, students, I'm taking it out, okay? If you want, later I will get back. Okay, now see the third one. Third one is about the cation. If you have different charges of cation, so greater charge of the cation, greater the charge of the cation, greater will be the covalent character of the ionic bond. After that, you have to add the same sentence, okay, what I've given you before. So greater the charge of the cation. So that means if, for example, I take sodium now, Na plus, and then if I take magnesium, Mg2 plus, and then aluminium, Al3 plus. Now you tell me among this, who will be able to grab that electrons of the anion more readily among Na plus, Mg2 plus, and Al3 plus? Yes. I know aluminium. It should be aluminium. Very good. Answer is correct. It should be aluminium. Why it is aluminium? Why it should be aluminium? Because aluminium has 3 positive charge. That indicates that they will be having high effective nuclear charge. Agree, no? Their effective nuclear charge will be very high. So due to which, if they are highly positively charged, they will have more tendency. It's like they are very poor. Okay, the one who is very poor, they will be eagerly waiting from where they can get the money. Okay, and the one who is little less poor, their tendency to take that will be little less. Okay, so I'm talking about the one who is very deficient of electron. So here you can see the one among that is aluminium. So aluminium 3 plus has greater charge. Greater charge means they will have more tendency because high positively charged. High positive charge means high effective nuclear charge of this particular cation. So their tendency to shift that electrons of the anion will be higher than compared to Mg2 plus and then Na plus. Okay, so that is the reason among this, if I take the compound now, ionic compound, if I take NaCl, magnesium chloride, Cl2 and aluminum chloride, so in that you will see that the covalent character in aluminium chloride is more than compared to and then NaCl. This will be more covalent. Okay, this will be more covalent and NaCl will be less covalent. It will be ionic in nature. NaCl is more ionic in nature and AlCl3 is more covalent in nature. So greater the charge of the cation, greater is the covalent character of the ionic bond. Okay. Over, no? Okay, now one last one. You listen first, then I'll give you that particular rule. The last one says if you have a cation, okay, two cations I'm going to compare. Two cations are there, both are of same size and same charge now, okay, but they are from different groups. Okay, so I'm taking two cations. You don't write this, okay, later I will give you that fourth rule. Now I'm just explaining. Two cations are there, okay, so I'm taking two cations, both are having same size and they are having same charge, same size and same charge. Okay, plus. So here I am taking example is Na plus and then Cu plus. Okay, among these we have to tell who will have more covalent character, whether it is Na plus or whether it is Cu plus, with the valid reason for it. Okay, so when we have the cations which are having same size and same charge, okay, this sodium ion and copper ion is found to have similar size also, and the charge, anyways, we can see that the charge is similar because Na is carrying 1 plus charge and Cu is carrying 1 plus charge. Okay, so they say the one which is having more polarizing power is, like, if I take the electronic configuration now, sodium electronic configuration is sodium plus S. So 11, no? So 11 means 1s2, 2s2, 2p, is Na plus. That means they have lost that one electron. Agree, no, with me? Na plus students it is. So we will not have electron in the third shell. Okay, this is the noble gas configuration. Agree? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 is the neon's configuration. What the sodium ion has attained. Now come to copper. Copper atomic number is 29. It was an exceptional case, if you could recall, in the structure of atom, and I told you it is important also. So electronic configuration in this way, argon, and then we write 3d10, and then 4s1. So from that 4s1, one electron has been lost. Okay, one electron from that 4s thing has been lost because it is in the +1 oxidation state, no? So we have to remove one electron. So here in the sodium also, they had 3s1, which I have removed. This is not there now because it's an Na plus state. Here also 4s1 electron was present, but then we are, so because they are in +1 state, they are not in the copper state. Okay, so now among this configuration, which will be more stable? Okay, so it is found that this copper ion is there, no, that will have more polarizing power. Reason is because, see here, sodium is having a noble gas configuration. This is attaining a noble gas configuration. It is attaining a noble gas configuration, whereas copper is still not be able to attain the noble gas configuration. Okay. So you can see here, copper has still not attained the noble gas configuration. There is electron which are present in the 3d orbital. So here the fourth rule, what they say is, if you have two cations, okay, of same size and same charge, the one which has this electronic configuration, okay, that is D. I'll write this as N, okay, and then 4s, configuration. Here it was 4 and 1 less is for 3. So N minus 1. So this configuration will be having more polarizing power than compared to the noble gas configuration. Noble gas configuration, they will not have that ease of taking the electron. Whereas this d orbital, okay, their effective nuclear charge will be very high because it has still not attained the noble gas configuration. There is d orbital electrons, so that makes the polarizing power of this particular copper ion. Okay, so that is the next rule. So fourth one is, I will write it down here. You can copy it. Of same size and charge, one with electronic configuration, the one with electronic configuration N minus 1 Dn Ns0. This becomes the general electronic configuration. Okay, that is transition element. These are d block element. No, they are also called as transition elements. Transition metals or elements is more polarizing, than one with noble gas configuration. The one with noble gas configuration. Okay, that is Ns2. I'll write generally. It is 2s2 and 2p6. So I will put them as N. Ns2 and then Np6. Okay. That is of alkaline metal. Even alkaline metal also, they will lose 2 electron and they will attain the noble gas configuration. So they will not have much polarizing power because noble gas doesn't have much tendency of taking the electron. But then d block elements, because their electrons are higher, if proton number is also higher, and then they have still not attained the noble gas configuration. So they will be more polarizing in nature. Alkaline, metal cations. Okay. So you can copy this down, then I will go back. Yeah, I will scroll back for the third one if you want. So for the cations of same size and charge, the one with electronic configuration, that is D block, transition metal configuration, is more polarizing than the one with noble gas configuration. That is alkali and alkaline earth metal. Because when they lose the electron, they attain, I said, noble gas configuration. But they are not that polarizing then compared to this. So NaCl will be more polarized. The NaCl will be having more ionic character, and CuCl will have more covalent character. Okay. If you